boys soccer as the St. Francis Knights cross into Michigan to take on the Bedford Kicking Mules. BCSN HD brought to you by Dave White Chevrolet. The place to go is Alexa Monroe, Dave White Chevrolet. Greg Frankie along with Chris Black here for this match. St. Francis was one of the top teams in the area last year. They were really in the mix for a track title, and they're strong again this year for Bedford. They've been down the last few years, but they had a very excellent win, 4-0 over Ypsilanti Lincoln. They think they're much improved, and they could give St. Francis a good test today. It'll certainly be a good test for Bedford.
Yeah, and on the Bedford side, they've got a game under their belt where St. Francis doesn't, so maybe that's an advantage. They've got that win, a little bit of momentum today.
One of the things that Bedford lacked last year was experience. They have a little bit more of that. They're still young, but more players with varsity experience. But they got a couple of excellent senior leaders that are captains of their team, and one of them is Brody Smith.
Yeah, and Brody's a dynamic player on the ball. It's fun to watch, very technical, but also a good amount of athleticism. He's pretty familiar with a lot of these St. Francis players through club soccer over the last couple of years. So there's probably some good-natured or some rivalries, but maybe we'll see how competitive it is today. Maybe you'll get a little bit fast-paced, and we'll see who comes out ahead.
Yeah, rivalries like siblings.
Yes, that's right.
That's quite
how they
a
act together.
rivalry. Now, Scotty Upton about him. Put the ball in, blocked. Another shot lobbed in from the top of the box. Also blocked, and there's Brody Smith with a long ball forward. Trying to run that down Mitch Sennheiser, but it was broken up.
And that was a nice look from Brody, too. He chipped it in there, a little bit of backspin to sit that ball down so it wouldn't just run on to the goalkeeper, Matt Dills, for St. Francis. Instead, Mitch had a chance to get in on that ball. St. Francis did a nice job dealing with it to get it back out there, but we saw a great example of Bedford just accepting the pressure.
There's a flick on to the relatively dangerous area. And Brody Smith looks like he's going to take it, and he's a very dangerous player. He had 3 goals, number 10, in the opening game. That 4-0 win they had over Ypsilanti Lincoln.
And you can see right there, Braden McMillan was trying, I think, get that ball from him for this set piece, but Brody wants it from a ways out. We're probably pushing about 40 yards. And if he puts this in, and he's actually going to chip it to the near side, it's dangerous. But him and Matt Dills played club a couple of years ago from the TFA. And I got to imagine that the old group text from that team would have been open, and there would have been some ribbing going off. That would have went in from that far out.
Yeah, those central defenders for Bedford, they know how to react defensively. They've been blunting a lot of good opportunities for St. Francis. They'll use the keeper on that long ball and regroup.
It was a good ball again by Brody Smith. Played that long ball, tried to put it just to the outside, the center back. In the end, St. Francis defender was able to knock it back to Dills and redistribute it out. So great counter opportunity right there. After a great negative diagonal ball played by St. Francis on the other end, you had 2 good scoring opportunities on opposite sides of the field in about 10 seconds.
And you can definitely see the contrast in styles where Bedford will try to go over this end, and then they have the penalty kick on the rather innocent play. They have the long shot that just evaded the keeper. I'm sure he would have loved to have that back. Here's a 3-man attack, but the forwards checking back well. Coach Ali Akbar said sometimes that's the real key for his team. They attack well, but do they check back? They did there. And that play finally comes to an end with the offside call. So we're ready for the second half of play. And there's Brody Smith wearing the captain's armband there. He and the other captain that we talked about. A couple of really good senior leaders. They only have about 3 seniors on the team, but they do get very good leadership from the ones they have. The other one is T'Chaka.
And Brody highlighted the new rule change this year in NFHS. You're allowed to pass the ball in a negative way, and here it looks like we have another. Lets them get in the rhythm of play of moving the ball for their first game in, and still get held up once they get into their final third. We see Brody.
Yeah, he's going to try to do it on his own and corralled finally by 3 men.
I was going to say, you would be surprised, but I kind of liked his odds to get through to 1v3. But then you saw St. Francis figure their back line out, and suddenly you could tell, yep, he's going to have to be taken down because they've balanced out. He can't put a ball through and chase on it. He's going to get tackled and double teamed at some point, and he did.
I think And getting back to the idea of what St. Francis
got flat for a second, so Upton tried to break it down as he should. You dribble right at that back line. So good tackle by McMillan because he was through. I mean, Upton's right through.
The ball almost ricocheted right back in. One of the things that Upton did very well there, and we've seen 1-8 to go. The Bedford team is doing well in terms of continued effort despite the score. And there are reasons to look and say that this score is a little bit flattering to St. Francis, although they have controlled the play almost exclusively. And we got a foul here, and another Bedford player is down, and this is Brody Smith. So not only has several Bedford players gone down, but they've been the key players on their team. Coach has got to be cringing about now, but Smith is up and looks like he'll just walk it off.
Yeah, if this was later in the year, you'd probably take a player like Brody out of the game. But it's still early in the year. If he gets a minor injury, it's not that big of a deal anyways. You're still finding yourself. You're still building. But later in the year, you might say, yeah, we're down 5-0, 17 minutes left. We're going to pull a player like Brody. But too early to be worrying about something like that unless someone has an injury they're already dealing with that you're going to try to protect. Now you're still going to try to find your identity, still play, still get some rhythm for the next games.
I think playing a team like St. Francis is good for an opponent. And Whitmer played Bedford, and they beat them 2-0 in a scrimmage, but that was a really closely contested game. So that's kind of gives you an idea of the caliber of this Bedford team, a team that's on the same level of a team that was a Division II district finalist last year. So this is not just cannon fodder for St. Francis.
Yeah, but we're going to have looks like a caution maybe to, I'm assuming Brody, who off the field. Then it was a tackle a little bit late. I think he got Kofi. So that's the hold up. It wasn't, I think he laid off then. I think he realized how late he was. He laid off, and his day's done, obviously, with just 5 minutes left. But yeah, you're right.